I decided I would ping my Discord and ask everyone what rank they were in MXP rank and what rank they thought they should be. After I gathered all that information, I decided to pitch them against each other in a 1v1. For example, in the first race, we're gonna have a bronze versus a gold. Let's see if the bronze actually deserves gold. Starting off the race, we have Martian on the inside who's gonna take that line away. Linear's gonna go up into the tough blocks, and I'll be honest, I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. Martian was able to basically just check out. Linear, not a Supercross specialist, is a bronze currently in Supercross, and as you can see, was just enjoying the singles and the doubles. Despite Linear doing his absolute best throughout the entire race, Martian was able to get to the point where he had built such a big lead that he actually was able to lap Fusion. Now, Martian wasn't necessarily going very, very fast, but as you can see, Martian was just making less and less mistakes and showing the difference between a gold and bronze really comes down to consistency. Even towards the end here, you can see that Fusion was actually even able to hold the pace of Martian for a little while, but ultimately ended up crashing and showing why bronzes are bronzes. But at the end, we have a little message from Fusion here that I'd like to share with you.
All right, hear me out. When I signed up for this, all I saw was Doc ranked, right? And I knew I should be a better rank. I didn't see Supercross. I didn't see nothing else other than what rank should you be. And I race against people all the time that suck in gold, just not Supercross.
What do you have to say about that, Martian?
Get better.
Starting the silver versus gold race here, we have the gold actually on a 250 and decided not to run a 450, and we have Panic on the Yamaha 450 there. This race was very, very good. These guys were side by side so much of this race. The battle was just immaculate. Oh my gosh, a little cross jump there from the gold though. You could see both of them were making little mistakes and it just kind of yo-yoed back and forth. What was most impressive to me was this track is very 450 friendly, and Maverick on that 250 was just absolutely ripping, and was really cool to see him hold his own against a 450. Ultimately, what happened in this race was these riders went back and forth and just battled for a good portion of the beginning of this race, even cross jumping each other there and swapping positions back and forth. I'm talking these guys battled and battled and battled within a couple seconds of each other for this almost this entire race. It wasn't until the last couple laps that Maverick started to make a few mistakes, and Panic showed his consistency despite being a silver player, and this ultimately ended with him getting a massive win, proving that he should be at least gold, not silver. Real quick, if you guys have liked any of the music in this video or you like what you're hearing right now, this is RD Music's new metal album that'll be dropping on the 24th. Make sure you check us out over at Spotify. Now back to the video. For the silver versus platinum race, we decided to give the silver a 15-second head start because, well, the plat was on a 450 and the silver was already starting to make a little bit of excuses.
I'm just completely washed, so.
I mean, you're the one that said you could beat a plat.
Well, I was like not using I was using the smooth side of the brain again, and I was thinking like MX.
Despite our silver player being homeschooled like Doc and not realizing he was going to be racing Supercross, he actually was absolutely ripping and was doing a great job of holding off Joe, our plat rider. As you can see, we're pretty far into this race and he was holding his own until that crash there. That gave Joe a little bit of a blood in the water, if you will, and Joe really started to lock it in here. Looking very, very good. Little mistakes here and there, but nothing that you would need to worry about. After about 2 laps in, the gap was about 6 seconds and Milla was looking pretty solid out front. Despite being on a 250, just still getting all the lines in and doing it with style, and was really just looking solid. I could see Joe kind of lurking in the background and scooting on up a little bit, but Milla was just looking very solid for being on a 250. Unfortunately, Milla started to come a little unraveled here, and Joe started to kind of lock in, and as you can see here, Joe was right on the back of him, was able to get almost to a pass, and Milla pulled the most silver thing I've ever seen in my life. Kind of took us all by surprise, but hey, Milla is staying true to his rank, that's for sure.
Oh, that is some total DDC lapper behavior we got in the chat right now.
He is a true silver, we can confirm that. Despite Milla's interesting tactics, that section bit him again, and Joe was able to get around. And this time, I don't think Joe was going to be giving up that first position. Joe was looking solid. He wasn't saying anything in voice chat, was just absolutely locked in. Despite that, Milla, our silver player, was actually holding his own though, and was right behind him. But as the race went on, Joe showed why he's a plat guy and not a silver guy. And again, it just simply came down to consistency. Joe was able to hit his lines, have good corner entry, and avoid major mistakes. And ultimately that ended with him getting the win. Now, I will say that Milla definitely should not be silver and could be a much higher rank. Next up, we have a silver versus a diamond. And this is an interesting one because the silver is also on a 250. So we gave a bit of a head start, but the silver actually has qualified for pro races in the past. He just hasn't been able to get his rank up in MXB ranked. And the diamond is actually Dylan Woods. And if you guys don't know who Dylan Woods is very good at the game. So this was going to be a very interesting race. Source, our silver, was actually ripping out front, and after a few laps was still on to a 6-second lead. But that 250 and some of those consistency issues started to come into play, and Dylan was just looking picture perfect. Dylan was just quadding in everywhere. Dylan was wheeling over rollers. He was just looking like a little Dylan Wayutes that I love. You know what I'm saying? Just looking absolutely mint. Dylan was able to build such a big lead that he was actually able to stoppie through those tough blocks and still hold the lead. And unfortunately for Source, there was just no beating Dylan. Dylan, I don't even think should be a diamond. Dylan is one of the best players in the game, and Source is absolutely nowhere near a silver and probably could be a true diamond. But this kind of just shows some of the issues or some of the things that rank needs to improve on, which is really just kind of actually giving the ranks to the players that deserve the ranks. It's still very new, and I think things are getting sorted out. As ranked continues, I would expect this to improve. But yeah, Dylan got it done. Crashed in the very last corner, but Dylan was not going to be beat. Well, next up, boys, you have a gold versus the #1 player in the world. And the reason you're seeing me right now is because, well, I'm the gold and Doug is the #1 player in the world. Now, this went pretty much exactly like I thought it would go. Okay, Doug and I are pretty similar in speed, but Doug is just way more consistent. Okay, basically what I thought was going to happen in this race is Doug was going to get a better start. I was going to sit right behind him, and we were going to just play a game of who made the least amount of mistakes. And that's basically what happened. We did a 6-minute +1 race. This is the whole race right here. Okay, I sat behind Doug. I would love to say that we battled and we went back and forth, but I'm going to be honest, we didn't. It was this, what you're seeing. Okay, I sat behind him. Now, he did make some mistakes where he would clip his back tire or come up, I'm talking like a foot or two short, but then I would do the exact same thing and the lead would stay exactly the same. Ultimately, Doug was a little bit faster than me. I would say like 2 or 3 tenths a lap if you're not including mistakes. And he just slowly slowly pulled away. And this proved to me exactly why Doug is #1 in the world. It's not because he's the fastest player in the game. That's not true. There's plenty of people faster than Doug. There's plenty of people faster than me. What Doug does so well is consistency, and that has been kind of the main theme throughout this entire video. Is some of these silver players that think they could be platinum or diamond or whatever, honestly, they probably could. They're holding their own on a 250 against 450s, but they lack one major thing, and that is simply just consistency. Consistency is really what separates the very fast players versus the best players in the game. Take somebody like Linz. Linz may not be the fastest guy in the game, although he's way faster than he gives himself credit for, but Linda doesn't crash. And this is why Linz wins so many races and is always in the title hunt. People like Rax, Tyler J, Skills, maybe they're faster on one lap, but nobody has the consistency of Linz. Now, the other reason that Doug is #1 in ranked is because he is absolutely grinding, and he basically has done over 400 races, and his average position finish is like 1.8 or something. So buddy is just absolutely consistent, grinding, and finishes really well, and that rewards him #1 in the world. I, on the other hand, I've done about 30 races in Supercross ranked, maybe 40, and my average position is also in it's like 2 point something, so it's pretty good, but simply I just haven't grind enough, okay? But if you're looking to get better and rank up more in MX bikes, what you need to do is you need to work on your consistency. Just don't crash and you'll finish way higher up on the leaderboard, even if you're going 2 or 3 seconds slower. If you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I love you boys, and I'll see you in the next one.